Trading with Livevol. My name is Stephen Choi, and this is where I trade my real Reg T account, and I use LVX to trade. So let's go to my account. Looks like I'm down some today. In terms of the market, looks like we've given back everything we made yesterday. So we'll see how it looks. Just in general, I know sometimes when the market moves like this, it looks pretty radical and drastic, but I just want to kind of show you guys something. This is the SPX chart, right? So this is the daily chart. But if I actually go to the monthly chart on this, basically you'll see out of all these ups and downs, this is almost like nothing, right? If in a few months from now, if this is all that happened, it wouldn't even register a blip when you're looking back at the chart. So when people are saying like, hey, this is, is the selling over, or is it like, are we headed for a huge downturn? I know watching CNBC, it makes it seem like there's like some massive event going on, but if you look at these long-term chart, basically this is nothing, right? In fact, there's been pretty much nothing for the past 2 years, really, that's of significant. And then the last real, blip came in 2011. When we went from like 1360 down to 1100 because of all the European debt crisis, right? And then before that, it was 2008 when we had Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers and the whole financial collapse right here. So, when you kind of have to keep it in perspective of what's happening. Yeah, if you look at the daily chart, since we haven't moved so much in the past year, this does seem pretty drastic these last 4 or 5 days. But like I said, if you look at it in the long term, you wouldn't even notice. So if you weren't like heavily invested in trading, and let's say you had some, I don't know, you had like a long-term 401k plan, like this month would be like a non-event whatsoever. That being said, if you trade, obviously every little tick makes a big difference. So for us traders, yes, these little movements do make a difference, but once in a while you have to kind of look at the long-term trend to see how your viewpoint is, right? So to me, when people say, people ask me, so like, hey Steph, are you still bullish? And my answer is yeah, of course, because I like following the trend. I'm not saying like I'm some guru who's going to know exactly when the top is, but the trend has been going up since 2009 right here, right? So basically, if you thought you were going to short the market this whole time, you wouldn't have done too well. And basically, if you just stayed long, you would have looked like a genius. But in the end, I like to go with the trend. So until like this trend kind of points me another way, I'll kind of stay with the trend and try to do my best with the trend going forward. So, for me, even though we had these sell-offs, my viewpoint is still kind of bullish. So until that changes, like maybe if it goes down to like 1760 here on the SPX, that might change. But for now, that's how I'm viewing it. But that's the way I see it. And then what I try to do using LVX is then I try to look at all these block trades, and obviously I'm gonna gravitate towards the ones that I like more and that kind of reinforce what I think overall in the marketplace, right? So let's say I was super bearish, right? If I was super bearish and I was using the software, you'll probably look at block trades that might kind of fit that criteria, and you'll piggyback that trade, right? So maybe what's this GDP, right? It just popped up. 7,500 of these trade. Oh, looks like this is like a risk reversal, right? But you can actually kind of go through this thing and find the ones that might match what you're thinking, and you'll probably gravitate towards that, right? So IBM 192 puts. Let's actually look at that. Right, so basically 1,000 of these trade. If you actually thought like, hey, you know, I think that guy is right on this 1,000, then yeah, maybe you might want to buy some puts. But what you would do is, you have this information using the software, but it's kind of not the end, but the beginning of your decision making. So what this does is it allows you to kind of pinpoint which one you should actually pick if your opinions are correct, and then you can profit from it. And it's not, it's like any software. It's not going to tell you exactly what to do, but it combined with your fundamental, your viewpoint, your knowledge, intimate knowledge of the stock, you can actually make more by using the software and knowing how everyone is placing their bets than if you weren't. So let me actually go to some of the stuff that I saw. So SE, Spectra Energy. So this is kind of curious to me because, and I don't know why it popped up at me, but but when I was looking at the watch list trade, this thing particular kind of made me want to click it. And you can see a lot of bullish orders here in SC. It's not a heavily traded stock. They are an energy stock, and they own natural gas related assets. So if you look at the chart for the past year, it's been on a steady uptrend. I see the IV30 is at the bottom 24 percentile, and this guy's buying the 40 level calls. So let me actually go to that. Right, so they're buying this for 115. And somebody actually bought these for around 55 cents. So they're actually putting their bids in there, and I think they're accumulating these as well. So I also noticed that in this 40 line, you can get that by clicking on the actual strike, that people have been accumulating this for the past, since April 3rd, right? So since April 3rd, let me see this 39. Yeah, and this one started March 24th. So all these options basically are being accumulated in the past week. These back month options. So it was just interesting to me. I think generally I kind of like this for 115, and this is why. Because in the last 6 months, right, it's gone from 34 and change to currently 38, right? So so it's gone up almost $4 in the last 6 months, and basically you're buying the 40 level calls and you're only paying $1. And to me that seems like a pretty good deal. It's just that I'm long already everything, so basically putting on another long position didn't seem like the right time to do it. But if you don't have any position, this is pretty good. But you see how the market is like severely selling off, and the fact that this stock isn't, that's a pretty strong signal. And maybe it might be more immune to this market sell-off than some of the other issues. So if you're going to get long, maybe these are the ones that maybe you should take your shots, right? So I like this one as soon as I saw it. I also saw heavy put buying in XLF. So let me actually go to that. So basically this morning, people were paying 27 cents and 23 cents for these April 1922 puts in XLF. You can see here the buying call spread. So basically here, this is the one I noticed. So I kind of like this buying put spread when I looked at the option pricing right here, right? So I see these 22 puts. Now they're worth 44. But I think what these guys did also was they were selling these puts, the April 11 22 puts. So that seems like a pretty good spread, even though now because the markets move so much away from the 22 strike, not sure if selling the 22s is actually a good fit. Let's see the 21.5, maybe like the 21.5. See how like this April 1921.5, and selling the April 11 21.5 might actually be a better trade to do. So let me actually pull that up. So if I want to buy this, and the reason I'm doing that is you're kind of like selling a straddle, right? So what do I mean by that? Well, if XLF goes lower, but it doesn't go lower than, let's say, another 20 cents by end of tomorrow, right? So let's say by end of tomorrow, it doesn't go lower than that, but it goes to like 21.50 or something. Basically, your April 19 puts will appreciate, so it'll go higher, and the April 11 puts will go to zero, right? So basically, you'll make money. This spread will go higher by end of tomorrow if XLF goes down. If XLF goes back up tomorrow, let's say another 20 cents, then basically these will go to zero, the April 11 puts, but hopefully, and let me actually go there. Hopefully these puts will not go to zero, and they'll actually be higher than 8 cents or something, right? So and if it is 8 cents, then you can get out and you broke even. So if it's your kind of range is maybe that XLF stays within like 40 or 50 cents in the next day, and then your this put spread will work out. If it doesn't, it won't work out, right? Because essentially what you're doing is you're selling this 21 spread, and if it goes to zero, that's how you'll make your money, right? So I actually like that spread, so I'm gonna see if I can put it on for you guys. So this is similar to that XLV trade, right? That I did. So let me actually pull up the complex ticket. Here we go. Okay, it's 9 cents. I think I'd be willing to do it for 9 cents. Let me see. Before I do that, let me check. All right, so with half the day left, maybe it can go even lower. So maybe I should hold off on it a little bit and see if because I think it's headed lower just from looking at this tick chart. It could be down to here, or it'll probably bounce back up. but I'll probably keep an eye on it. Maybe that's a spread you can do. The original spread people were doing was this spread, right? So they were doing, let me pull it up. They were doing this spread where they were buying the April 22s, right? And selling the April 11 22s, right? So let me actually get rid of these two. And so you're buying the April and selling the 11, the one that expired tomorrow, and it looks like the fair value is 8 cents. Actually, I like this one better, so I'm gonna actually try to do this one 25 times, $200 at risk, and I'm gonna send the order. We'll see if I get filled. Most likely, you know, I give it like, oh, looks like I just got filled. So, so just so you guys know what I did, I bought the April 1922 puts for 45 and sold the April 1122 puts for 37. So I paid 8 cents for that spread. So we'll see what happens. You know, maybe 46. Yeah, so I paid 45 and 37 was my trade price. Maybe I could have gotten it for a penny more or 22 cents more, but you know, I got it. Now I'm kind of, what I'm gonna hope is that we have a bounce and it goes back to 22 strike, right? So that's XLF. I saw EEM, and people, there was a huge put buyer in EEM. Let me actually, so you see this 20,750 May 1741 puts somebody bought. So, you know, and they're selling calls, maybe selling the June strangle right here, right, for 64 cents. So maybe it's kind of ironic that this is the same price, but in the end, May 17, 41 puts. Let me actually go to that. Right, so somebody bought 20,000 of these for 64 cents. This, if you look at EM, it looks like it's kind of on the upper range of this, like, you know, movement, and it's most likely to come down. I actually didn't buy that spread, but basically this is like part of the ones I sell calls and puts on, the premium stuff. So I actually sold another call, and I'm making little. I'll see how it goes. But in those puts, I'm gonna just keep that in mind. That, you know, maybe that bet is that EM will go down from here. For those of you guys who don't have any position in EM, you know, maybe you can do some kind of spread, right? So you can buy the 41s and in May, and then maybe sell the weekly a little bit higher and try to pay for some of that premium. So as this thing falls, you're actually gonna make money on the puts that you own, but the ones that you sold, you actually will it will expire worthless, and you'll be able to get the money that way. Let me go to DXJ, because this is something that came up yesterday, right? So somebody basically sold a ton of these May 43, yeah, 45.38 puts, and they sold it for basically 108, right? Like 10,000 times. You know, I look at this trade. I was kind of intrigued by maybe selling these as well. So now that it's for a lot better price, it's even more intriguing. But you see how like this one, they 950 lot came in to sell, and then everything else is kind of like just one lots. But I think people are maybe still thinking of selling. So what I'll do is I'll just keep an eye on it, and when I feel like it's gonna bounce, that might be a good strike to piggyback these guys. But for now, like since it broke this, it's like right at the bottom range of where it's been for the past 3 or 4 months. It doesn't seem like there is that need to kind of try to get in it now, since I have all these other positions as well. So that's EEM. I mean DXJ, similar to EWJ, of people buying that call spread 11-12, but we found out it was an open interest. He was closing one, and he lost that last time, so it looks like he's on his way of losing it again, but we'll see what happens. On positions that I have where I was piggybacking, let me cover them real quick. So I saw this spread go where somebody bought the May 65 call in SPLK and sold the April 65 call for $1.80. Let me actually see. Right, so it's still 195 bid at 225. So even though the stock is down 580, that spread has actually gone up. So in the end, it's working out okay, even though it's down $6. So it's kind of like you're hoping to kind of get lucky and have it pin at 65 in next week, and it can still do that, but it seems like it moves quite a bit in this stock. The other one is Micron. So basically, somebody bought 10,000 of these calls for 287 yesterday. So I kind of like that spread because because this is the May 20s. They had pretty good earnings, and I think it's gonna. It's kind of like low risk because you're only paying 30 cents worth of premium at that time to buy the stock, and if the whole market melts down, you're only risking $2.87. So I bought 2. It's down with the market, so we'll see what happens on there. AA, I did this earnings trade where I sold a 12-13 strangle for 17 cents. And that actually seems like it's working out pretty good. They'll probably expire worthless tomorrow. So that was a relatively a good trade. So that's one. The other one is, I haven't talked about ZNGA in a while. And the reason I haven't is because it's all right here now. So basically, if you look at all my position, I have very little position after April 19th, so next week, and then basically this will come off. And this is kind of like almost like self-contained now. There isn't that much for me to do unless ZNGA announces something crazy where there's like going to be a significant stock movement. So if I look at the risk chart, if I click it, and I look at the 50-day, this is my risk chart right here, right? So basically, yeah, if it goes down drastically or goes up drastically is where I can make some money. But for now, I'm not really expecting anything, except if they do announce something that could be a game changer before earnings on the 23rd. But I'll consider that pretty low in terms of the delta. So that's pretty much it. I am finalizing everything so I can try to get on every day and do the earnings. There's probably, a decent chance. I'm going to see if I have time to put it on today. I have a bunch of meetings lined up, but I'm going to see if I can do it, but I'm going to try to do earnings. Another thing is, let me actually go to Livevol community. There is something coming up this weekend from TechnoTrader, and if you go to Livevol community and click on this, I think this is free, so I think it's pretty cool. You get to kind of see technical analysis, and then here you can actually subscribe to the earnings report as well that I'm going to do reports on, video blogs on. So if you guys want to try LVX, please go and do it. Go to livevol.com. It's pretty much the best software out there, and we were actually we're actually featured in Barron's. So go ahead and click on read more, and you guys can actually read about what Barron's wrote in there. But other than that, I'll be here every day at 10 talking to you guys. People ask me, how I feel about not making a ton of money right off the bat, and to me, it's not a big deal. It's something that you have to go through. I've done it many times, and in the end, it worked out well for me. So I don't see this time being any different. Just gonna go one step at a time. It's a learning curve, but once you figure it out, then you should be able to make a ton of money trading. So it's the thing that's cool about it is I get to kind of do it live, and you guys can follow. And I think for maybe some of you guys, seeing that even people who have a lot of experience could lose money is kind of a comforting thought. These softwares are pretty awesome, but it doesn't really guarantee you making money, right? Other than that, I'm going to try to make money going forward. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, and hope you guys have good trading. Take care.